Hello, folks, and welcome to a magical night of entertainment. I'm Troy Wonderly, Artistic Director and Ringmaster of the Circus Smirkus Big Top Tour. It is my pleasure to host this evening's event, and I want to assure you that you're in for a treat. Thanks to the overwhelming interest in tonight's show, we sold out our webinar license twice before ultimately reaching the maximum capacity of 1,000 tickets sold. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your enthusiasm and generosity. Now, let the fun begin. Tonight, we gather in friendship to celebrate a company of performers that wish to continue spreading joy during these challenging times. In an attempt to warm your hearts, our virtual show will feature individual displays of skill from across the country. Before any Smirkus performance or production can spring to life in Greensboro, Vermont, our performers must first train in their local communities. This evening, you will be entertained by Smirkus campers, troopers, alumni, and staff from their very own bedrooms, living rooms, basements, and studios. While for many of us, the Big Top is where we thrive, our hometowns are where the magic begins. Tonight offers each of us a once-in-a-lifetime chance to experience the magic of Smirkus from our homes to yours. Feel free to share digital applause through the evening with our performers by opening the chat box at the bottom of your screen. As a director, I am often asked where I find inspiration for the themes we select. This summer's theme, A Great American Road Trip, was inspired by a childhood adventure my family took when I was 6 years old. My parents, 3 siblings, grandmother, and I piled into a family van and left Vermont in pursuit for the Pacific Ocean. Throughout that coast-to-coast road trip, adventure awaited us around every corner, and life had never felt so rich. In today's world of quarantines, when all non-essential travel has been discouraged, I can think of no better theme to re-inspire our collective imaginations. Tonight, our journey begins as we zigzag from state to state, celebrating Smirkus artists who continue to train in preparation for future adventures. I encourage each of you to buckle up, relax, and enjoy this virtual road trip of creativity. We begin our road trip in Golden, Colorado, where an artist who has been perfecting her craft for the last 11 years will dazzle you tonight. Please help me in welcoming a second-year trooper on the Tippy Lyra, Christina Shelton. Next up, our road trip brings us to Melrose, Massachusetts, where we'll be entertained by a ninth grader who has been dazzling Smirkus crowds since 2016. During the school year, she practices handstands and contortions and competes in both dance and as a level 9 rhythmic gymnast. She has a world record in hula hooping on her nose and was recently awarded the silver medal in the pre-professional teen category of the Australian Circus Festival. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the comedic hoopings of Ava Lou Rylander. Rolling into Mount Vernon, New Hampshire, we find a young man who has been doing circus for 10 years and has performed with the Silver Lining Circus Camp, the Flying Gravity Circus, and Smirkus Camp. He is looking forward to his first summer as a Big Top Tour performer with Circus Smirkus. Next up, the dynamic Diablo of Austin Dameron.
50 days, 15 towns, and 5 states. Every year, Circus Smirkus brings together 30 of the best young circus artists to perform in the Big Top Tour, the country's only traveling tented youth circus. I've been so pleased to travel with the Big Top Tour for the past 11 years. I'm Ben Sheff, the tour general manager. Many of these performers are troupers on the Big Top Tour. These passionate circus artists range from age 10 to 18, and each summer they delight over 40,000 patrons under our Big Top tent. At each show, little kids sit around the ring curb, as close to the action as possible. When they see the troupers, they see themselves in performers who are only a little older than they are, encouraging them to dream big and swing for the stars. In communities across the Northeast, we are proud to partner with nonprofit organizations to create these connections each summer. To learn more about the Big Top Tour, including tickets, volunteer opportunities, and more, visit our website and the link in the chat. Our next performer is a 15-year-old and a fifth-year trooper. She lives in Rhode Island and she has 4 dogs. Please welcome Ilsa Bryan.
Leaving Ilsa in Providence, Rhode Island, we now head to Denver, Colorado, and discover a gal who has been training as an aerialist for over 5 years, and is thrilled to be a first-year trooper for the Big Top Tour. It's time to take to the air on the soaring trapeze with Skylar Leggett. Every great road trip needs to take a detour. Ours brings us across the border and into Quebec, Canada, where we find a young man who has practiced circus and magic since the age of 10. He proclaims to be the happiest clown on the planet when performing with Smirkus and his friends. Let's give a great old Yankee shout out across the border to comedic magic of Solomon Perini. Without even a pit stop, we now travel from Canada all the way to Springfield, Pennsylvania, to introduce you to a gentleman who trains at the Philadelphia School of Circus Arts and performs with Circus Smirkus. Please welcome the unicycling antics of Scott Raison.
Time, weather,
To continue this zigzagging road trip, we now head to Vermont, where within the Big Top Adventures studio, we discover a 16-year-old who was born into the circus. She trains at the New England Center for Circus Arts and has been a performer with Circus Smirkus since the tender age of 3. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a gal with a great last name, our very own wire-walking Ariana.
Tonight's performers didn't just wake up one day being able to do these amazing acts. It takes a lot of practice. I'm Josh Shack, Director of Programming and Alumni Relations at Circus Smirkus. I'm proud to bring our residency program into schools all over the Northeast and introduce circus arts to more than 3,000 school children each year, using simple learning strategies we call the circus secrets, like try again, and go slow step by step. Students feel such pride at the final performance and continue to use the circus secrets in the classroom, in life, not only carrying with them new and exciting circus skills, but increased social and emotional development. These programs aren't just for schools either. We've taken our residencies to museums, day camps, and more. For more information about bringing a residency to your community, visit the link in the chat. And now, coming to you from Seattle, an American-Australian duo, Jessica Perry, a Smirkus camp coach and former camper herself, and her partner, Jessica Niven. The Flying Jessicas have been working together for the better part of the past 3 years, performing in Australia, US, and France. Please welcome the Flying Jessicas.
We leave Seattle, Washington, and return to the Rocky Mountain region, where we discover another performer who has been a part of Smirkus for most of her life. Serving up some comedic shenanigans, please welcome our very own Ruby Frank. What would a road trip be without a stop to the majestic coast of Maine? Our next performer is a 17-year-old clown from Portland who is a third-year trooper with Circus Smirkus. With his dynamic cigar boxes, please welcome Theo LeBlanc. From the coast of Maine, we now return to Canada, where their motto is from sea to sea. Our next performer started with Smirkus at age 10, graduated from the National Circus School in Montreal, and is a performing member of Seven Fingers. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Bryn Sholkoff.
Licorice tattoo, Donegal, metal blue, scrolled across the shoulders of a dying town. Took the 1 mile jacks across the railroad tracks, and a scar on its belly pulled the stranger passing through. Just a juvenile delinquent, never learned how to behave, but the cops never think to look in my shade. And a road was like a ribbon, and a moon was like a bone. Didn't seem to be like any guy she'd ever known. How far are you going? Said depends on what you mean. Smoke from the tires and the twisted machine. Hail Marysville ain't nothing but a white spot in a road. Some night my heart pounds like thunder. Don't know why, don't explode. 'Cause everyone in this stinking town got 1 foot in a grave, and I'd rather take my chances out in my shade.
Now we zip over to Rochester, New York to find our next performer, who has been training in dance, acrobatics, and acting for 13 years and has been doing circus for the past 6. She is a first-year trooper with the Circus Smirkus Big Top Tour. Performing on the fabric, let's have a warm welcome for Alexa Wallace.
For many of us, circus is a place where we belong. I'm William Fortune, director of Smirkus Camp, but Smirkus campers call me Mama Bear. Every year, around 450 kids from across the country and around the world come to the lush green hills of Vermont to eat, sleep, and breathe circus in our big top tents. We've heard from parents that they see a whole different kid after they've been at Smirkus Camp. Campers have told us that Smirkus Camp is the place that they feel most like themselves. Campers and staff come back year after year because Smirkus Camp is where they found their place, their upside down, juggling, laughing, clowning around, happy place. If you'd like to know more about Smirkus Camp, visit our website in the link in the chat. We can't wait to welcome you home again to Smirkus Camp. And now back to the show. Our next performer's antics have been seen in more than 10 countries. He was a Smirkus trooper from 2011 to 2013 and has since performed around the world with shows including Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, the Vernados Circus, and Slava's Snow Show. Smirkus campers know him as Uncle Chase. Coming to you from Houston, Texas, please welcome Chase Culp.
From Houston, Texas, we travel back to Vermont and come across our second dynamic duo of the night. Liam, a Smirkus trooper for 4 years, and Ripley for 3. They recently finished circus school in Quebec and look forward to dazzling you with Diablo and Risley. Next up, Liam Gunlock and Ripley Burns. And now on to Greenfield, Mass. we go. Our next artist is 17 years old and has been on tour with Circus Smirkus for the past 4 years. She is also an actress and a member of the Celtic Heels Irish Dance Company. Let's welcome the aerial artistry of Serafina Walker. for a virtual road trip to New York City. The next coach has been a part of the Smirkus family for the past 4 years, having been a clown coach for 3 touring productions and an opinionated bystander for 1. A clown for longer than anyone cares to remember, he never lets his talent get in the way of his artistic vision. Tonight, he demonstrates that great performers can be found anywhere, and he is still looking. Please welcome Mr. Joel Jeske.
Good evening, viewers, and all the ships at sea. My name is Mr. Joel Jeske, and tonight I'm going to present to you Circus Stars of Tomorrow Today. Now, my friends, I'm going to find you 2 young ladies that you're going to hear about this evening, and they are going to be quite famous far, 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 far in the distant future. A moment while I gather my talent. Where are you? Come on, here we go. Oh, good girl. Good girl. Okay, here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss Dottie. She hails from the peach state of Georgia. She knows Russian, and she can walk backwards on her hands. Nicely done. Very good. Okay, you ready? You ready? Okay, I'm gonna put you right down here. Okay, good. Okay, stare right there. Stare right there. Hold on, wait, hold on. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. And this here is Miss Coco. Miss Coco actually has a degree in international diplomacy, and she's looking for a boyfriend. So please check her out online. There you go. You ready? You ready to be a star of the circus? Okay, you're gonna be so good. You're gonna be so good. Okay, girls, are we ready? Okay, music. Okay, come here, girls. Come here, girls. All right, come over here, Dottie. Go. Are we ready? Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen. Have a beer. Here we go. Girls. Okay, now, up. Good girls. Very good. All right, and good job. Very good. Here. Good girl. Very good. Okay. Go. And serpentine. And wait. Style. Okay, now, coupling. Girls, go. Magic. Oh, out card. Very good. Here we go. Wait. Here's my card. Here we go now. Good
no, that's enough.
Well, thank you very much. What is it? Oh.
And now, one final trip across the Canadian border. Our last performer was part of Circus Smirkus Big Top Tour for 3 years before heading off to attend the National Circus School in Montreal. Hats off to our final performer of the evening, Will Borges. From coast to coast and back and forth across the Canadian border, this brings our virtual road trip to an end. We have made history tonight by virtually clocking 18,202 miles with only a single potty break. At Smirkus, we always aspire to treat our audiences as if they were guests in our very own living room. Tonight, we thank you for inviting us into yours.
And we can't wait to see you in person down the road.
Let's welcome back the entire cast for one more round of applause.